this little bit is page 114 of the 9th volume of Tristram Shandy, which, when it finisheth, for it says that it says at the end of the 9th volume. So it doesn't say the end of the book. Neither does it say the end or finis. It says the end of the 9th volume, which is what it said in the end of the 8th volume and the end of the 7th volume. There is no absolute certainty that indeed it is finished. There are those that say that of course it is, and there are those who say, well, I don't think it necessarily is. Make up your own mind when you get to the end as to whether you think it's finished or not. And this is a little bit where Mrs. Wadman, the widow Wadman, who has looked over her garden fence and seen Uncle Toby and has been attracted to him and has been attracted to the fact that he is probably the fact that he's next door and he's available and she needs a new husband. So those are good factors to recommend him. But also there might be a bit of a problem because he has been injured and she knows he's been injured, and it's in a pretty sensitive part of his anatomy, and it could cause problems for marital bliss. And so she is just trying to find out how suitable he is. And whereabouts, dear sir, quoth Mrs. Wadman a little categorically, did you receive this sad blow? In asking this question, Mrs. Wadman gave a slight glance towards the waistband of my Uncle Toby's red plush breeches, expecting, naturally, as the shortest reply to it, that my Uncle Toby would lay his forefinger upon the place. It fell out otherwise. For my Uncle Toby, having got his wound before the gate of St. Nicholas in one of the traverses of the trench, opposite to the salient angle of the demi-bastion of Saint Roch, he could at any time stick a pin upon the identical spot of ground where he was standing when the stone struck him. This struck instantly upon my Uncle Toby's sensorium, and with it struck his large map of the town and citadel of Namur and its environs, which he had purchased and pasted down upon a board by the corporal's aid during his long illness. It had lain with every other military lumber in the garret ever since, and accordingly the corporal was detached into the garret to fetch it. My Uncle Toby measured off 30 toises with Mrs. Wadman's scissors from the returning angle before the gate of St. Nicholas, and with such a virgin modesty laid her finger upon the place that the goddess of decency, if then in being, if not, 'twas her shade, shook her head, and with a finger wavering across her eyes, forbid her to explain the mistake. Unhappy Mrs. Wadman.